welcome back.
Oh no, Jenny, there's only one more after this.
I know.
Maybe
but
I
you
should...
know what? Looking ahead to the fact that the next episode's title is In Dreams Begin Responsibilities, I'm like, you know what? Seems like a good time to get off the ride.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, we'll stay in the dreams column. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Great. I love that. I was just about to make another petition and go to the local high school and see if any of the kids wanted to sign it for me to keep the show on the air. So,
Hey, kids.
hey, kids.
How do you do, fellow kids? Yeah. What a journey it's been.
This is, I never remember every single thing in every single episode, but there's sort of like images that come to my mind when I see the title. And when I see the title of this episode, I just laugh. Like it's just from my memory, it's just like a big party of an episode, a very fun time. But
you guys were certainly having fun making the episode. That much is evident.
Great.
What are the highlight? Let me give our dear listeners some highlight previews of what you're about to hear. You're going to hear Joanna recount her receipt of a beautiful work of art. It is Graham wearing a Parmesan goldfish Speedo / loincloth.
Yeah.
So that's cool. You're going to get to hear her reaction, the joy in her heart, and thus in her voice.
I think the detail there, if I remember correctly, I think the detail there is that it's Graham's head on some kind of lithe, muscled man body that is, unclothed, wearing the Parmesan goldfish Speedo.
Yeah. So something to look forward to. You guys talk about this being the penultimate episode and how people use that word or misuse that word. And I want you to know, dear listener, oh God, I feel like I've probably said this somewhere before, but when I was in high school, I worked at an expensive pen store.
You definitely. I know that we have told somebody somewhere about your pen store journey.
I know that I've talked about the pen store because I think about writing implements a lot, and it's it's such a weird job to have. But I don't know if I've ever mentioned that the name of the store was Pen Ultima, which is like so close, guys. So close. The number of actually men who came in the store just to let me know that actually the word penultimate means actually a lot of people said next best. Like the second best. And I don't
That's
think
not actually...
I'm going to go find those people and actually them myself.
Yeah. I'll go to the high school with my petition. You go to the mall and find the actually men.
Last but one in a series of things.
Yeah.
Second to last.
Second to last, not second to best, you weirdos.
Anyway, it was a weird name for what they were trying.
What if they
so
didn't even mean to play on it? What if they were like, it's the ultimate
pen. But not like ultimate is done. What about Ultima?
Yeah. Ultima sounds kind of like a car that'll go really fast, Yeah, it sounds like a Nissan Altima, I guess, but in my mind I made it
to
fast.
me, it sounds like Blade Runner.
Oh,
you
okay.
know?
Yeah. That reminds me, it wasn't in this podcast. It was in a recent podcast where Jenny was trying to get the nib of her pen to work, and she didn't realize. I was watching her on Zoom, and she didn't realize that every time she tapped the nib of the pen to her tongue, she was getting more and more black ink in her mouth.
Yeah. Just yet another similarity of me to my son and my son to me. They really crop up when I least expect them, and mouthful of bullshit is definitely one of his ongoing traits. And I guess mine. And then that's Kristin. See, that is just one of the hazards of a low cost fountain pen nib. That's why you got to hit up Penultimate, now closed. They went out of business. Maybe because of the name, maybe not.
Because all of those men were looking for actually the ultimate, not the second to best. So
yeah. I mean, it's possible that in the late 90s we were exiting the era of the expensive pen. Not that, I mean, they're still out there, of course, but I feel like the middle class was just beginning to be deconstructed and dissolved, and
and
there just wasn't room in the market for another pen chain.
Totally, and it's when the printing press was invented, so it changed a lot of things.
In the late 1900s.
I see that you have a note here in all caps about a negligee, and I really want to
because Camille loans Patty a negligee.
Oh, yeah, no.
And you guys are like, don't borrow negligee, and I want to say that I'm also here to say, don't borrow negligee, and then if you do, don't tell Graham.
Oh, she tells Graham.
She at least says it like Camille made me wear it.
Okay. But she doesn't say this is Camille.
I just feel like negligee is like for a specific purpose that leads to stuff that kind of puts up a hard no wall to sharing.
I agree. It feels even more extreme than borrowing underwear, to be honest with you, because I mean, I wouldn't want to borrow underwear, but there's a chance that simply that underwear has been worn, where with a negligee, there's things that are happening that I don't really want to have near.
Things that are happening that are absolutely none of our business.
Which I think is
your business, so don't borrow the negligee.
I think that the Latin root of negligee is actually comes from none of
your business.
None of your business.
None of thine. You guys mentioned that Danielle says something like, my whole life is waiting for something to happen. And has there ever been a truer encapsulation of youth, of like of crossing the threshold from like childhood into like teenhood?
No.
Than that?
No. And Danielle, maybe I've already said this up in an intro, but I know this is like a newer experience. I mean, Danielle's a great time, but I feel like this watch with you, Jenny, Danielle has risen to the top of the pile. I'm like, I don't know that I love anyone in the show more than I love Danielle.
Yeah, she's the poet laureate of the show too. Yes. Except for this episode where Patty wins because she's drunk.
Patty, that is what Patty needs right now, she just needs to loosen up a little. And if that's going to take, what does she get? Does she get wine drunk? Do you know what she gets drunk off of? I don't even know.
I believe it is wine.
I would assume that it's wine, but if that's what it takes, Patty, does she drink the wine before? You don't know. You haven't rewatched the episode, but I'm like, is it negligee before wine? Wine before negligee? Probably wine before negligee.
Well, the old, the old saying, wine before negligee. Sailors wore negligee. Negligee before wine. You're gonna have a good time.
Well, that is case in point why we do these introductions.
Just getting to the bottom of some inarguable truths here on the pod. Oh yeah.
One of our earliest morning tapings that we've ever had. It's almost buffering after dark. It's so close.
It's so early.
It's so early. I don't know where the line is between after dark and after sunrise.
I think a 10 a.m. taping is the first taping of the day.
Of normal.
And since right now it's 9:42 a.m. and we're factoring in, of course, your pregnancy brain and my parent of a 2-year-old brain. So that equals buffering after dark.
Great. Well, Jenny, anything else you want to share? You only have one episode to reunite with Walter, so we're all waiting.
Wait, actually, I have an update. Hang on a second. Okay, my friend whose cousin is his neighbor, unprompted, texted in the chat a week ago, Walter accepted my Facebook friend request. Do we tell him we love him?
Yes. Yeah.
The other girl in the chat besides me said, probably not, unless he is still cute.
Well, And then where did it go?
It was confirmed that he is still cute. And then I said, we talked about him so much on the pod, and I made the mistake of saying his first name and that he currently does chainsaw sculpture, and people who listen to the podcast have definitely found him, so maybe we should just leave it alone.
Oh my God.
Let this man live. Let this man saw.
Wow. I can't believe that I said we have 1 week left and you were like, oh, actually, we have an inroad.
I know. Can you believe it?
I can't. It feels meant to be. I'm just saying. Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out what happens.
Well, yeah. If he DMs my friend before we tape the last intro, maybe we can get something going.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Who needs to interview the top members of the cast of the show when you can interview Walter, you know?
That would always be my preference, I think. Ugh.
Well,
okay, let's quick go now. Go.
Nice.
You don't have the keys to your own handcuffs?
Well, they're not exactly mine.
Right, I guess they belong to some really perverted guy, you know, or something.
Yeah. Or your parents.
What?
I found them right here on the bed.
They were not.
Ask Ricky.
Those things do not belong to my parents.
Wow.
Danielle, leave.
No.
Danielle, I'm serious. Mom left me in charge.
Duh. I'm not leaving. I live here.
Hello. If I don't say hello, then it means that we're not almost done with the podcast, right, Joanna?
Hello.
Hi. I'm Kristin Russo.
I'm Joanna Robinson.
And this is the Boiler Room, where Joanna and I are talking about every episode of My So-Called Life, one at a time, without spoiling anything for you, although there's not much left to spoil.
It's true, though, that today I was like, what does happen in the finale? And then I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, today we are talking about the penultimate episode of My So-Called Life, episode 18. It first aired on January 19th, 1995. It was written by Adam Dooley, directed by Todd Holland. This is the episode called Weekend, a.k.a. I Love Your Foyer, a.k.a. Drunk Patty.
Drunk fucking Patty.
Listen, there are a lot of characters I love on this show. Drunk Patty is top 5 for me, personally. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know that like we gave Bess Armstrong a lot of accolades for her performance in So-Called Angels and the series as a whole, but this is some of her best comedy. This is her best comedy. That isn't some of her best. This is her best comedy of the series. I posit.
But this is like her best everything, because there's there's such a tension, edginess underlying the comedy. And so you're just like, oh, Patty. I'm just feeling it the whole time. Anyway, great Patty stuff. But if you were watching this show as a kid and all you wanted was the high school stuff, like, this is, I think, not a very popular episode of My So-Called Life when people think about it. Yeah. Because it is split so evenly between the adult hijinks and the kid hijinks. And Jordan Catalano is not in it at all. So, as I think our friend Vanessa Bayer pointed out. So, So, I really like this episode. It's funny. I don't know if we have this on tape, but like when I was talking about like things I remembered from My So-Called Life before I rewatched it for this podcast, I was like, there's somebody's handcuffed to a bed. Like, I really remembered the like hijinks of this episode. So.
Yeah, I think you mentioned, maybe it was when we were talking to Vanessa, or maybe it was just when we were chatting as pals, but that like this was an episode where you went into it thinking like, oh, this is like one of the lesser episodes of the series, and then kind of came out being like, actually, that was pretty fun, which is like the identical experience I had today rewatching it. I knew from rewatching it before we started the podcast that like it was enjoyable, but I really I've gotten so invested in everyone's storylines this viewing that I had a blast.
Yeah.
And I always have loved the handcuff sideline of this episode so much.
Well, roping everyone but Jordan Catalano into like one. I think this is the first time that like Jordan's not there, sure, but like, right? This is the first time that we've had Brian and Sharon and the core
and
three.
Rayanne and Ricky. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, they've been like involved in the same plot lines, but not all together in a room
with one
Certainly
mission.
Not like by the time we get to the end, like all invested in a common goal.
Right.
Like that is for sure.
And
not
Danielle, you know what I mean? Like and Kyle's even there, so you know it's just like a lot going on. Yeah.
Danielle, that's a good place to start since this is very similar to Life of Brian, one of the 2 episodes of the series that is not from Angela's perspective. And this time we get Danielle's perspective, which is fun. Not as much monologuing, which I think is reflective of her being however old she is and, you know, not in the throes of teenage angst. But it's really fun. I think it's done really well from Danielle's POV.
Yeah, I love our. Oh, we only have one more episode with Danielle, but yeah, I mean, like this is such a good. And like, you are an older sister, right?
I am.
Yeah,
yes.
and I'm the younger sister, and so like we've talked about this before, but just like I don't know, this is perfect younger sister shit. Like when my sister had friends over, I was just like, yes, please include me in all the things. Thank you.
And her, you know, she does a really good job of capturing like this like middle ground between childhood innocence, which is funny because we've talked about this with Angela, but it's a little bit different at this age where she really has this like childlike innocence where she wants to know things, but also just wants so badly to be cool and like the teenagers and like, you know, so on and so forth. And there's a couple of moments in this episode where I just think that she does that so well.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
We start actually, Joanna, on a piece of flannel. So we begin on the bottom of Danielle's flannel dress. I called it the flannel dress pan up to Danielle.
Actually, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I have 3 candidates for best use of flannel right now, and I'm not sure which one I'm gonna pick. So.
Yes, I had a lot of contenders, but I have made my decision. So
all right.
When it clicks in for you, Joanna, you just give a shout and we'll meander on over to the penultimate best use of flannel.
That's a word that people use incorrectly all the time, and it really like usually
How do they use it?
Sometimes people use penultimate to mean like the ultimate, like the most.
Oh, like
ultimate.
The best.
Yeah.
It does sound like it could mean that.
Right.
But
second to last, baby. A very specific word.
Yeah.
I love a word that's very specific.
Yes.
You know?
Me too.
So, yeah. So Camille is helping Patty pack for this romantic getaway, double date situation. And Camille is being very encouraging about certain things, and Danielle is trying to eavesdrop using the Game Boy as a cover. Very smart of her. Love it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, I have never used that tactic, mostly because if I was playing Game Boy, I really did not hear anything else. I was gone. I'd fallen into the Game Boy. So it's a good cover. Danielle's, like, monologue begins with a few things. You know, she says, like, my life is different people kicking me out of different rooms. But the thing that she says that I want to highlight in this scene is my whole life is just waiting for something to happen. And the reason I want to highlight it is because she has this incredible connection to Rayanne later, where Rayanne essentially gives voice to the same set of feelings. So putting a pin in that. And then, of course, the other really important part of this scene is that Camille is like, Patty, I have something for you. She gives her a set of handcuffs in a black latched box.
Oh, I want to know, like, I mean, I guess Camille probably purchased that at the pleasure center, but
yeah, I guess.
I'm very curious where Camille got that. But before we get to I just don't want to skate by this great line from Camille when she's suggesting, I think it's the green negligee. She says, "This is very much what could have given Andy his heart attack." So shout out to Strangers in the House or whatever that episode's called, like a nice little callback to her husband's heart attack, which she's like might have been a result of this negligee. So are we meant to believe that like the negligee is like, I think it's weird.
I agree.
To borrow a negligee, like handcuffs. I agree. Sure, but
I'm even on the fence about the hand. I'm not, because the handcuffs, like they stay on your wrists and they are sort of like farther away from the sexual activity, like the exchange of fluids, if you will.
Yeah.
I just am not sure about the negligee.
Like borrow a dress from someone, but don't borrow like a negligee.
Well, just because it's like an item of clothing that you know that, well, maybe she wasn't wearing it when they had sex. Maybe she was just wearing it and then she took it off. I don't know, but it just seems very
like
intimate.
Draped it on the chair over there, maybe. But like odds are Andy took it off of her. I'm just saying it's just too Chersky. Like if Camille had been like, I bought you this, an identical one that I wore probably gave Andy his heart attack, I'd be like, great, twinsies. And then like Patty like evokes Camille like later when Graham's like, hey, she's like, yeah, Camille made me wear it. I'm like, let's not bring Camille Chersky into this. Like,
right?
You know,
I mean, unless that's your thing. I mean, but like. Camille also says I think it's the dress that's backless, and she says, men love backs, which was another line that really tickled me.
Okay, I didn't, I try to use this sparingly with you, but I'm going to do another round of Ask a Gay and say, okay, maybe men love backs. I don't know, but neither of us are men, so who knows? And I mean, what's actually true is that different people like different things and whatever.
You're right.
But as an admirer of the female form, Kristin Russo, is like backless a big thing as far as you're concerned?
I love a back. I do. I like seriously love a back. I really identified with this very intensely. So yeah, I'm gonna side with Camille here on backs. Thumbs up to backs.
Love a back. Love a back.
A back, a good shoulder,
Great.
It's good.
Great stuff. All right. So Ricky and Angela are playing a round of yay or nay at the kitchen table. They will do it later with makeup, but what do you think they are yaying or naying here in this like flipping through magazine scene?
I assumed it was like celebrity boys.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we're looking at a little, this is this before JTT, but it's like,
I was thinking like Johnny Depp, right?
Yeah, that's more on it.
We've talked a lot about Brad Pitt. We don't need to talk about Brad anymore, but that's the era, right? Keanu.
Yeah. Also, for the record, we can always talk about Brad. There's never too much Brad.
A little Denzel.
Yeah. And I think that it's such a quick thing, but this show is really good at just putting little tiny pieces of things across the episode. And like Ricky's arc, Ricky is like getting a bit more comfortable with talking about his sexuality. And like we saw it with Corey and like him approaching Angela about how her actions with Corey were not cool in a similar way. And I think that this is like a nice little moment, quick as it is, of like Ricky and Angela are looking at boys together. That is a step for them, for him. So yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, very much.
So Rayanne calls because Rayanne is just like losing her fucking shit, of course.
But okay, yes. Okay.
What do you got?
Rayanne behaves very badly in this whole episode. Extremely badly. But she gives herself a new nickname in this scene where she goes, hey, it's the ray gun.
Yep.
And I might never recover from that. Hey, it's the ray gun. And like, I really need to come up with like a really bad similarly bad nickname for when you call me next week for our final episode of this podcast.
Please, Joanna.
So I'll be like, hey, it's the Joker. Joker. the Joker. I don't know. I'll work on it. But
workshop it, and I'll say, this is Kristin Russo, and you can just introduce yourself with your nickname.
Hey, it's the ray gun. Anyway, yeah. So Rayanne, so Angela's picked up the phone. She's like, fucking Rayanne, here. to Ricky and walks out of the room and physically drags Danielle behind her out of the room.
This is Ricky's deal for like that whole episode, that he just feels like he's in the middle of these two and doesn't want to be. And Rayanne is just increasingly insensitive to his predicament, as usual.
It makes me so mad when he says, "Don't put me in the middle." And she says, "I didn't put you there. That's where you are." And I'm like,
yeah,
absolutely. You were like, we are of an age now where like you and I, where we've gone through like, there are various like friend breakups or falling out or whatever. And there are ways in which you can choose or even like relationship breakups, right? And there are ways in which you can choose to involve your mutual friends in it. And there are ways in which you can like not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we see Angela like doing the other side of that for the most part.
For the most part.
But she's not being perfect, but she like, because she does ask Ricky. That's true. She does ask Ricky if Rayanne is asked about her, but she's not like, it doesn't seem like Angela is trying to get in the middle of when Ricky and Rayanne are hanging out. We haven't seen those scenes, but it does seem like this is a bit one-sided.
Well, I would give Angela, like, as you say, kind of like partial credit, because like I think not just her asking like, did Rayanne ask about me, but also she's like, if you want to go hang out with her, like that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, so
that's
she's
true.
I think but they're teenagers. So like, listen, they're all handling this better than I would, but like, cause I would demand that the person like not be friends with that person anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's something I used to do. But
Totally.
I think now, what I would try to do, what I do try to do is like, if I'm feeling in like acute pain about something, I want the space to like talk to that person about my pain around this, but to reiterate to them, this doesn't need to impact your relationship. I'm not trying to make you feel one way or another about this person. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling about it.
Totally.
Yeah. So but they're teenagers. So like I'm not holding them to like my standards of living several more decades on this planet.
So speaking of them being teenagers, Patty is sort of like having a moment with Angela here in the next scene where she's like, this is a big responsibility. This is where we find out that Angela is being left to take care of Danielle. And we find out that years ago, whenever it was, Danielle asked Angela to put her in the dryer, and Angela did, which is great. My sister was the kind of kid who would put herself in the dryer. She didn't need help from me. But I found this to be also relatable content.
I was going to ask you, like, as the older sister, what's the like kind of not cruelest, but almost just sort of like, I can't believe I did this to her thing that you did to your younger sister?
God, I was so awful to her. I think that like probably like I have like a standout memory of one particular fight that really escalated because apologies if I'm repeating a story, but I was like 13, 14, and I was a camp counselor, like just a super short day camp at my sister. So my sister and I would get home from that day camp at like noon, and then our parents wouldn't get home until like 5 or 6 or whatever. And so I was in charge of watching her during that time. Watching her, she was probably like 8. So she did like similar. She didn't need like supervision, but we would fight about whatever, something on TV or who knows what. And it would escalate and escalate. And this one time it escalated so much that she was like running for the phone to call our mom to be like, Mom, Kristin did this and did that. And I took the phone from her. And at that point, there were no cell phones. So if you did not have the physical phone in your hand, you were screwed. I took the phone from her, and then she ran into her room, and I closed the door and wedged the chair underneath it so she couldn't get out of her room. And she was like screaming and fucking crying. And I literally didn't let her out and didn't let her call my mom. And then, of course, as anything does when you're a teenager, she eventually came out, and she eventually called my mom, and I got in very big trouble. But it was awful, and I remember it because I knew that I was doing something that was like really bad to her.
I've been trying to think of the worst thing my sister did to me, and like either I've repressed most of it or she like didn't. I mean, she would like drive me into debt playing Monopoly. I don't know if I've told you that story, but like She used to like drive me into debt playing Monopoly and then like hold me to that debt in real life, not with money, but like I had to do like chores.
Oh my
I was
God, to like earn your.
Yeah, because I was in Monopoly debt to her. And then another thing is that we used to like, I don't know why, like she used to have control of the TV and that's fine. She was older. We watched a lot of Star Trek Next Generation. I have no regrets about that. But like we used to do this thing where it was like last person left in the room, in the living room, had to turn the lights out. And for some reason that was like that's the last thing you want to have to be the one to have to do for some reason. I don't know. So,
right. Like it's like not even the thing itself. It's just the idea.
Yeah, it's just thing. Like it's flip a switch. Like who cares, right? So we ran out of the living room, I think. And she definitely beat me. But I decided to be stubborn and was like, I'm not going to turn out the living room light. So it was just on. And my sister is like, we're both from Northern California. We're environmentally conscious people, but she is way more than I am. And so like, she was like, you turn those, like, and then it became the principal thing. And so she got her like stereo and plugged it outside my room and drove me out of my room using music, turned all the way up so that I would come out and turn off the living room lights. Anyway.
Oh my God.
That was like
incredible tactic.
That was like the closest I could think of to being shoved in a dryer. Okay, to bring it back to Angela and Patty. Patty says, yes. I don't want to find anyone in an appliance. So great line from Patty. Great stuff.
Yeah, one of many great lines from Patty, in all honesty. So, right, there's a quick, I think we sort of covered the phone call thing, but there's a quick scene back in the kitchen where Ricky is still on the phone with Rayanne, and it gets a little tense, and Angela's looking uncomfortable. And this is also where Rayanne is like kind of hung up on, which will then, of course, lead her to show up at the front door later in a very Brian Krakow fashion, if you ask me. I had this $6.50 that I needed to get from Ricky.
Oh, you're right. That is a classic Brian move. Well,
Brian.
He says try make Katimski's later, and what happens is he just doesn't go home.
Right.
So she like goes to Katimski's. He's not there, so she goes to the Chases in the morning. But like, I like that Angela calls Ricky Enrique, which I think is the first time we've ever heard her do that.
No, I don't think we've ever heard her do that.
Yeah. So,
and I wonder if that is like another one of those really tiny little nods to, him being at Katimski's and him being more comfortable with whatever.
Yeah.
Don't want to read too much into it, but yeah. So Graham looked under Hallie's hood.
I was trying to pinpoint like why, we've gone back and forth about Hallie Lowenthal being annoying and like, one of the reasons is the way she eats Chinese food. But I also think it's the fact that they always refer to her as Hallie Lowenthal and not Hallie. And it like noticing it this time, like every single mention of her name is her first and last name. And it is driving me up the wall. I mean, unless it's Camille and then it's that Hallie Lowenthal person. That's how Camille uses 4 words, but Graham and Patty both call her Hallie Lowenthal. And then, Patty finds out that about Brad.
This is, finding out, as Patty does, that Graham has not told her about her and Brad breaking up is a real moment. And obviously, just like anything in life, when you push it down, it's going to boil up later. And it will. But she's thrown.
Yeah. And what I will say, some small credit. I mean, this is not a good look for my guy Graham. And this is a very bad episode for my guy Graham.
Yeah, this is a horrible episode for Graham.
Absolutely. And I knew this. At the beginning of the season when I declared my love for Graham, I was like, I know we don't land well at the end. That this is going to be a tough ship to steer at the end of the season. But one small bit of credit I will give him is that I kind of genuinely believe him in this moment when he is like, oh, I didn't tell you? Oh, yeah. Like, I believe him. He does a lot of other, like, very shitty, neglectful stuff. But I guess that's the issue with Graham is that the most malicious he is being oblivious and insensitively oblivious. And so, like, that's my main, like, he's not setting out to hurt Patty. But he is being incredibly oblivious to what might hurt her, right?
I
Obtuse.
agree. I do think that Graham genuinely did not remember that he didn't tell
Yes.
Patty, but I think he is the kind of human who leans in hard to that obliviousness. Like
Yeah.
that obliviousness is a protection for him.
Yeah.
Because we've seen it. We've seen the look on his face in that fucking restaurant when Hallie came in from the rain. He knows he's doing something wrong. And so I think that it's not like maybe, you know, some other people would experience like, I am not going to tell Patty this thing because I know I'm wrong. It's like his system like overrides his, you know, let me just rewrite the narrative so that it's fine. So I agree with you, but I also, I think I agree with you twice because I agree with you that he doesn't know, but I also agree with you that he's not off the hook.
Yes.
It's true. It's not Marla, is it?
It's
Marla.
Cheryl.
It's Cheryl. So I was like, I didn't know why I knew this actor.
Laura Innes.
Yes. And then I looked it up, and I'm sure, Joanna, that you know this, but that she is Dr. Weaver on ER.
Oh, I 1,000% know it.
I, you know, was a person who watched ER a ton. I don't want to say that I watched every single episode, but I watched it a ton when it was on, and I would have never made this connection because her character on that show is so different from her character on this episode.
Well, it's so fun too. Like she shows up, like I recognized her immediately. I was like, oh my God, it's Carrie. And then she's like going, and I'm like, how fun to watch Laura Innes, who's so great. But like, I think after she played Dr. Weaver on ER, where she played this really like, I don't like this phrase, but I'm going to use it. So I apologize. Ball busting sort of, you know, like.
Yeah, she was really hard nosed. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Tough dame, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, how fun. She gets like, this is before that. And I think after she does ER, like, first of all, I think she just took her ER money and like doesn't act much anymore.
Yeah.
But she must be incredibly rich because she was like, you know, a big star on the biggest show on TV. But like, but I think if she is cast in things, they like are going to cast her with Dr. Weaver in mind. But she gets to play this like bubbly Cheryl character, and I love Cheryl.
I love Cheryl too.
Love Cheryl, and I think the episode, if you start out the episode like Patty, really judging Cheryl hard, it wants you to come out this other side really loving her because, like, you know, Cheryl loves Patty, and like at the end of the day, you're just sort of like, this is cool. Like Cheryl rules, you know.
I have a question about that because I loved Cheryl. Like when I was watching it this time, I remembered Cheryl as a character that we were supposed to, that at least that Patty was annoyed by. So I kind of went in expecting to be like annoyed by her at the jump. And I was like, wait, there's not a single moment really in this when I find her to be annoying at all. She seems like.
Well, I think that laugh is the laugh is a bit much.
Yeah, it is, but you can't like hate a person for their laugh.
And then like once again, it's like being a little obtuse. And so when Patty's like, is that my husband's sweater? And she's like, this is so cozy, and like snuggles up to Graham. I'm like, I wouldn't do that. But that, once again, that's just like obtuse. Mostly she's just like there to have a good time and like had the bad taste to date Neil for a hot second.
Yes, seriously.
You know? So.
Listen, Cheryl is going to do much better than Neil. So I'm glad that this ends with Cheryl going back out into the world.
But her line, which I wrote in all caps, I love your foyer, is just a great line for a character. I'm a big fan.
It is. It tickled me so much that you started with that. Like that was one of the big takeaways for you. It really got me.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how conservative, like, you know, because like Patty's super conservative. And she says dumb shit like, I'm an adult, I don't need alcohol or whatever. Like Patty says stuff where I'm just like, unclench, Patty, you know? But like, I don't know if like watching this on network television in the early 90s, we're supposed to be like, oh, she's got doobies. Like, what the fuck? Whereas I'd be like, yeah, Cheryl, pass me one of your doobies.
Right, that's true.
What I mean? So
that's true.
Yeah. I mean, here's the big problem of the weekend that Patty has. Well, first of all, traveling anywhere with Neil, I think, is a bad idea. Doing anything with Neil, I think, is a bad idea. Graham also kind of a bad idea. But like the main issue Patty's having here is that what she enjoys out of a weekend and what the 3 people she's traveling with enjoy out of a weekend are very different things. And I think we've all been there where you find yourself on the trip with someone who like really enjoys something else. And when you're like, I'm thankful to have gotten to a point in my life where that no longer needs to be a conflict. I'm just like, why don't you just do the thing that sparks joy in you, and I'll do the thing that sparks joy in me, and we can like meet up at the end of the day and like, you know, and just like either find someone who likes to travel the way that you do, or give up the reality that like you're going to do every single thing together.
Totally.
And that's what Patty really misfires on. Does not read the room at all, which sucks. And then but then the other 3 suck in return. So it's just everyone's not at their finest.
I mean, because I think had it not been for this run for hooch, to use Patty's words, if it wasn't for this alcohol run, I think they would have probably like gone ice skating. And you know, what kind of a fucking, why do they not have alcohol at this place is my first question.
But also when Patty's like, there's a lake we can hike to in the snow to ice skate, I'd be like, oh, you have fun, Patty. I'm gonna read my book.
That's fair. But
I think I don't want to do any of the things that Patty wanted to do. Oh, you want to spelunk? No, thank you.
But I feel like had the other 3 not like gone on a many hour quest for alcohol, that like they would have done some of what Patty wanted, and they probably would have come back and had some drinks and had a fine time. I think it could have been okay.
It could have been okay, but Patty was like, maybe. But Patty, once again, she's so oblivious. She's just like, well, she's like, let's go ice skating. And all 3 of them are like, meh. And she's like, come on. And then, okay, like I've had someone come on me on a vacation and I've enjoyed it. So like, I get that. But like, then she's like, and we'll come back and we'll have like exactly this much time to eat. And then we will spelunk. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, Patty?
Seriously.
Like, pick your battles. Like, okay, you know, pull their arm to get them to go to ice skating with you. They'll probably have a good time, but then once they get back,
then let it go.
Then let's just hang out by the fire. You know what I mean? Like, anyway.
Based on this conversation about other people's travel, Joanna, I feel like you and I would be good travel buddies.
But I do think we don't have the same style, like necessarily. You're more of a planner than I am generally, and like,
but not when I travel.
Oh, okay.
Not. I mean, when I travel for work, then I'm like on hyper planning mode. But like when I just went to France this trip, like the reason that trip was so successful for me and the person I went with is because we both were like, we'll do a couple things, but like for the most part, we just want to like experience the experience. And like I hate overbook. Like I usually go, if I'm going to go on vacation, to me that actually is usually not going to a place where I can see a city, because I just like to like chill. So I like to let go of my planning side on vacation.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies just to see if you could save some cash? Well, Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune in to Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
From the darkest corners of our imagination comes a game show that's more ridiculous than terrifying. Welcome to Tickled to Death. I'm your host, Roz Hernandez, and I'll be guiding guests through the creepy questions and chaotic games, all to win the ultimate title of Horror Movie Champion. Listen to Tickled to Death wherever you get your podcasts, and hit follow unless you want the show to follow you.
I will say, I was like trying to figure out, I was like, how could this weekend be great? Like, how could this disaster have been avoided? And I'm like, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what sounds like a really bad vacation to me? Going to like an Airbnb, or like not an Airbnb, a B&B.
A B&B,
where everyone is
no
like,
air.
where like everyone is fucking in every room. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, that's just like if I want to go on like a romantic thing, I don't want to be thinking about the fact that like people are boning down in every single room of this B&B. You know what I mean? And so like that to me is not like, if Graham and Patty need to reconnect, Graham and Patty should go somewhere, the two of them, and like
and not bring Neil.
No, don't bring Neil,
because Neil brings out the worst of Graham.
Yes,
the worst, and we see that here so clearly.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Sorry, we got
Shall
a
we
little,
go back?
Got a little off track. I just had a lot of thoughts about vacations and like how we could have avoided, like, and if I do want to stay on this. If Patty had like, I just really wish Patty had gone on the booze run with them, and maybe she would have had a really, like, she would have thought it was really fun, and then she would have like had the inside jokes with them. You know what I mean? Like, that seems like they have a really fun time in town.
They do, but they're gone for so long, Joanna. Can we talk about that?
Oh, I'm mad at them. I'm very mad at them. I'm mad at Graham for not calling her. Like, it's shitty.
Thank you.
I mean, there's no cell phone. It's shitty that he didn't find a payphone and call her.
He should have.
So shitty. They leave, like, they don't only miss ice skating, they miss spelunking
They miss
too,
spelunking.
which means they were gone for like all day.
5 hours.
Like, all day. It's awful.
That's and like they don't even. Graham should have called, but like the fact that not only does he not call, but then they show up and they're just hysterically laughing with absolutely no awareness of the fact that they have
I'm
left.
so sorry we left you here all day and all of your plans. Oh, I know. No, I agree with you. Awful. And I've been that person. I've been Patty in that, where you just get like the way I described it is like volcanically
yes.
angry. You just like you just get madder and madder and madder. And it's just like you're so
God,
mad.
and at
like,
least in this day and age, you'd be like angrily sending a text to somebody first, and not literally stewing for the whole day.
Oh my God. And at least like Patty's doing something constructive like origami, whereas I would just be like, fuck everyone, you know?
Oh my God. Since we're there, let's just like talk about Warren for a second, because he is the worst B&B owner I've ever encountered in all my days.
But also Patty's like a deeply annoying guest. So.
But like, I mean, she's the only one in the inn, and all she does at first is be like, so Warren, have you been here your whole life? And he's like, not yet. Like, he's just, why does he have a B&B? Who is it for?
Love Warren. Warren, we should say, is played by Jack Nance, who is a Twin Peaks actor. That's how I know him. And later he wears a tie at dinner. He's wearing a tie with these like this red zigzag pattern on it, which is very Peaksy, and I feel like cannot be a coincidence. So,
wow, I didn't know any of that. That is very fun. I didn't even look up. Wow, I was so rude to Warren. I didn't even look him up.
Well, when he showed up, I'm like, it's Pete from Twin Peaks. So yeah, that's how I felt about Warren. But
amazing.
I'm so mad at them when they walk in and they're so oblivious to how mad Patty is. But I'm also like frustrated with Patty because I'm like, oh, you really did this to yourself by being like, well, I'm an adult and I don't need alcohol, so I'll just sit here and wait for you to come back. You know, I'm just like, Patty, what if you had gone and maybe it would have been really fun? You know,
Patty needs a little bit of Cheryl, you know? She needs a little bit of Cheryl, just a dash of Cheryl.
She needs drunk Patty, and we'll get there. And I'm sorry. Thank you for indulging me in all of this. Meanwhile, back at the Chase household.
Back at the Chase house, we are fondling the lipsticks of Angela Chase once more. And this is the scene where a couple of things happen very quickly, actually. We cut back and forth a lot because this scene really just gives us Angela saying, "Did Rayanne ask about me?" And Danielle just giving us this, like, it is so cool to be hanging with my big sister and her friends. It gets me. We're having a collective Patty rewatch, but like you're really having a Patty rewatch. I think that like I am having the biggest Danielle rewatch that I've ever had. I feel so endeared to Danielle in a way that I have never felt about this character in my life.
I love it. I just like, and she's so earnest.
Yeah, Lisa Wilhoit, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but she just does an amazing job. She has since the beginning, but that we get her as the central focus of this, and she gives us such like a genuine adoration for these big kids is wonderful.
Yeah, it's really sweet. And like, I mean, we'll get to it, but like the crush on Brian is really just the cherry on the whole sundae here. So yeah.
Truly. Not the cherry on Patty's ice cream sundae though, because she never gets that.
One scoop, Warren. Just one scoop. Oh, okay.
So Patty is in Camille's nightie, and we have mixed feelings about this. Write into us at boilerroomcast@gmail.com with your thoughts about sharing nighties with your best gal pal. But she does this. So I just wanted to talk to you for a second, Joanna, because she does this walk to bed. She says like, it's not really me. Like Camille made me do it. And she walks to bed and she's very insecure about herself in this nightie. And we've seen the interior of Patty's relationship to Graham for 18 episodes now. And I just feel like they have a great sex life. Like, I'm not quite sure where Patty's coming from in her positioning of feeling. There's a lot of stuff here, but her positioning of feeling not desirable by Graham is something that confuses me based on how into Patty Graham seems to consistently be. And so I don't know what your read is on this, but
it kind of feels like something they decided to do mid-season. Like the Halloween episode, right, is like a big like Patty Graham sex episode, but then you have the one with the sex tape where like
where they try to like
where Graham like indicates that he thinks their sex life has become boring, and Patty's like, that hurts my feelings. So like that happens, and then this like Hallie shit is going on, and so like I kind of understand why Patty feels that way. And then there's like also even like the zit, you know what I mean? Like Patty's worried about how old she feels like she looks and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think it's been there. This isn't like a huge reversal, but it is like if they were gonna explore the end of a marriage, or you know, if that's what the intention was, having them start out like so frequently hot for each other at the beginning of the season feels like a misstep. If they were exploring a relationship sort of on the way to petering out,
Yeah, or maybe it's an interesting take on like, the narrative is usually that a couple where one person is having an affair, like their sex life isn't good. Maybe like that's the spin on it, is that like that isn't necessarily the case in situations like these. Like Graham can be desiring Patty still, and Patty still can be feeling insecure, and he can still want. So, I guess maybe the problem is that we never got the ending of this arc, to see where they were taking it. But in moments like this, I'm like, Patty, how do you not think that Graham is going to be into you? And Graham is so into her in this nightie. Like he's
so excited. He's
so
shirt off, ready to go. I'm mad at him in this episode, so I can't appreciate it too much. But the shirt off Graham is, But I'm mad. I'm mad.
Do you want to take like just a very brief second to shout out the fact that somebody made you Graham wearing a towel made of Parmesan goldfish?
Oh my God, yes. So we talked last week about like our ideal, like what I don't know. I don't even know how to give it context, but hopefully you remember that we had a cracker conversation
you just
last
listen
week.
to the episode.
And we were talking about like the cracker that we hoped someone would be wearing anyway. this listener, Melissa, lovely Melissa, made me a Photoshop of it's some and what's okay. There's a number of things that are great about this. Okay, she has put Tom Irwin's as Graham, his head on some naked dude's body, but she's done an incredible job matching the skin tone. This is a very pale, but it's like an Adonis, but a very pale Adonis, and he matches. And then like the head kind of matches. Like it's a really, that part is incredible. The other part is incredible too. It just looks less realistic, but it is also incredible. She has given this naked pale Graham as what can only be described as a Speedo. It's not a blanket, as we discussed. It is a Speedo made of... I mean, this is... I gotta say, I don't think this is Parmesan goldfish. I think she has taken goldfish and, like, leached the color out of them somehow in order to construct a Speedo on ground. Anyway, it's a thing of beauty. Melissa, I really appreciate you. She named this image file Tom Irwin Goldfish. It's great stuff. So
I would have actually called it a loincloth.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's a little baggy in the
in the groin area.
I think it's baggy in the groinal area, but it is like definitely a bikini cut on the hips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a mullet of a garment. Anyway, it is so much.
Yeah.
And I want to thank Melissa for making that happen for me. Thank you.
So thank you, Melissa, from me as well. Yeah. I got to enjoy it. So Graham's trying to have sex with Patty, but Patty is losing it because she can hear Cheryl and Neil having sex and laughing next door. And the real moment of shine here for me is when Patty says, doobies. Like to mimic Cheryl. It kills me. It kills me.
Here's the deal. Patty is wrong about Cheryl for most of this episode.
Yes.
But when Patty does her Cheryl impressions, they're amazing. So.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, Rayanne rolls up to the front door, as discussed, in a full, what I would like to label Brian Krakow move, uses the $650 that Ricky lets us know later he has already paid her. So she's just using it as a cover to come over. And she goes upstairs, and what happens but a discovery of handcuffs. Joanna, would really like to play a little sound clip of Rayanne opining on what Patty and Graham do with these handcuffs.
Mm-hmm. All right, Graham. This answers a lot of questions about those two.
Oh, Rayanne, give me some.
Graham. Don't hurt me, master. Oh, wait, what if it's the other way around? Graham, that dinner you prepared just wasn't tasty enough, slave boy. Patty, I've been bad. Punish me.
This is like so unfunny.
Great. I can't believe that we've made it this far into the episode without talking about like tops and bottoms, to be honest with you, because it is such a through line of this thing. And something that I want to say is that Rayanne and Graham, remember back when Rayanne and Graham were connected via mustard?
Yes.
Well, they're connected again in this episode.
Because they both like sex in a different bed, right?
Yeah. Back-to-back scenes of them being like, sex in somebody else's bed is always better. So she's locked. She's cuffed to the bed. She will remain there until almost the last second of this episode. And I want to say, I feel like we've talked about a lot of the arc at the inn, if you will.
Yeah.
But Patty, I wanted to just give her 2 wardrobe shout outs. In this next scene, she is wearing a sweater that I wrote in my notes is a hot sweater. I love her sweater so fucking much. I want it to be on my own body. She looks great. Later, we will see Patty wearing a winter hat. That is atrocious. I don't understand what has happened.
It's one of the most 90s things I've ever seen.
It's so bad. This is the hat that Willow Rosenberg would wear. It is two different kinds of crochet. But yeah, back to the chases. This is great. I think every moment of Rayanne being cuffed to the bed and what it brings out in all of the characters. The first thing being Angela, learning that these were her parents' handcuffs.
Yeah.
Fucking Wilson Cruz's face when he like looks at her to be like, yeah, she's not fucking lying. Because of course Angela thinks that Rayanne has brought these handcuffs over. Totally believable, by the way. I would have thought the same thing.
Absolutely.
But it's really, really delightful.
It's delightful. And like, I don't know, because like Rayanne is not in a position to like tease anyone about anything, you know what I mean? So when she's like, think again, you know what I mean? I'm just sort of like, no, I need more contrition from you, Rayanne.
Yeah.
And I don't get like any of it in this episode. So
no, because Rayanne is actually very similar to Graham, right? What I was just saying about Graham, Rayanne is somebody who like doesn't look right at the bad thing because she hopes that the good things can just be the focus, and like wipe away the bad things, you know?
Right.
And that's what she's doing in this entire episode. And I think something that's really interesting about Angela's journey with Rayanne in this is I feel like Angela is watching Rayanne and like learning that there are some shitty parts about Rayanne. And, you know, again, we only have an episode left, but it feels to me like she's coming around to there are some bad parts about Rayanne and there are some good parts. And am I going to choose to be her friend, even, you know, knowing these truths about her.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think she's going to land on the yes. But what a powerful way to be somebody's friend, right? When you understand their limitations and you understand what they can give you and what they can't. And you can then, like, draw those boundaries for yourself as well in the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's true. And then, like, you know, take the whole person, you know, get the stars out of your eyes when it comes to Rayanne. But I think that, like, we had seen Angela working through that in earlier episodes. It's just, the Jordan thing feels so fresh.
Yeah.
And maybe if we'd had more episodes, I just feel like we have no time. The Jordan thing happens and then it's like 2 more episodes and we're done. And I feel like if the season had like 22 episodes or whatever, as a usual network show did at the time, like we would have a couple episodes where they're like separated from each other. You know what I mean? And that would make more sense. But like we need to accelerate the timeline. And so like she's literally locked in there and it's going to force them to try to like get to a warmer place, which they do. But, you know, you have these 2 scenes, not right here, but you have these 2 scenes in this episode where it's like, I don't want to have the Jordan conversation. Yeah. I also don't want to have the Jordan conversation. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's such a weird place to be. And so like, if I'm Rayanne, which I wouldn't be because I wouldn't have done this, but like, you know, if I'm Rayanne and I've really fucked up, but I have somehow managed to insert myself into someone, like I am contrite as contrite can be, you know what I mean? And so like it's hard for me to watch Rayanne like bluster her way through this. We'll get to the Danielle scene. The Danielle Rayanne scene does a lot of work to like close that gap for me, but like I'm just so frustrated. I want to be understanding of Rayanne, and last week's episode was so good for allowing me space to be that, and here I am so frustrated with her. So you know, it's complicated.
Yeah. So fucking ding dong. Camille and Sharon have arrived. They're fresh from the store. Sharon is so excited about her jumpsuit. And this is like some top comedy. It goes for so long too of Angela. Her, you know, Claire Danes is great at everything, but what Claire Danes does when she is like caught in a lie or trying to keep somebody from something and is also in between terror and laughing hysterically is incredible. It's like sheer chaos, this whole thing. And she just does it so beautifully, trying to keep Camille out of the room, failing. But like her attempt, listen, this is a show of sound clips. So I just want to share like the tiniest bit of Angela trying to keep Camille downstairs.
Oh, wait, where are you going?
Oh, I left something up in your mom's room, so I'm just gonna go.
Oh, I'll get it for you.
That's all right.
No, I want to.
Why?
Why? That is so exactly the point. Why? Because of respect for elders, which I just feel is totally lost in like today's world. So what did you need?
It's not important. I'll get it myself.
I have to talk to you.
About?
Justice.
I mean, I agree with you. I'm so glad we got to hear Angela doing her best to keep Cheryl out of the room, but I just need to make sure that we don't skip over the fact that Sharon Chersky has purchased a jumpsuit of some kind.
Yes.
And we never get to see it. And it makes me very mad.
I would never, ever, ever take that away from you. We kind of see a little bit of it. It almost looked red and green to me, which gave me a little chuckle because of your love for Sharon Chersky's Christmas attire. Like, is she thinking ahead to next Christmas, you know?
Yes, yes. Well, I gotta say, there's later in the episode when Sharon's on the porch and like Kyle is sort of like mauling her or whatever. she looks so like so good. She's wearing like a very short dress and then she's got thigh high like tights on. She looks like a whole snack. Like she looks great.
A whole snack.
Devin, Odessa, if you're listening, fantastic. Top aces. I think this is Sharon's like least like, because like sometimes Sharon could dress like a little momish, and this is like her most like, no, I'm a really freaking cute high schooler. Thank you very much. Dude,
outfit, Sharon is probably like, we don't get the Sharon Chersky episode, but like Sharon has just been liberated by having like carefree sex with her boyfriend while fantasizing about Brad Pitt. She's trying to keep her space from Kyle. She's probably getting attention from some other dudes at school.
Yeah.
Like she's really coming into her own in a way, like, because Sharon's always kind of been into her own, but I feel like she's coming into her own sexually and like just possessing herself in a way that's fucking amazing.
Well, we should point out that this look is a very niche window in the 90s, and it makes me think of one movie very specifically. Does it make you think of anything?
Clueless.
1,000% Clueless, which came out in 1995, and that's when this episode aired. So this is like this is the very narrow window for that look, and she's nailing it. It's great.
Totally.
Stuff. So yeah,
short skirts, thigh highs, and if we're really gonna top it off, something fuzzy in your hair.
Yes,
you know, like a clip of some kind, a fuzzy headband, perhaps. Some fuzz must be included.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
So Rayanne, who showed us that she is a great actor last week, is really overdoing it upstairs in her performance of sick patient in bed.
But like she's doing fine. Like yes, she's overdoing it, but like she and Ricky deserve like Oscars compared to like guess what? I never want to try to pull anything off with Angela Chase. That's what.
Jesus, seriously.
Like, get it together. And Ricky in his beautiful pajamas that he's wearing, by the way, has to like leap over the bed to try to cover it. It's very bad. Wilson Cruz's face is so good because like he's just like also like kind of barely laughing. It's very like I cannot like that Camille bought any of this is ridiculous because Angela is just out of control. It's bad.
Do we think that Camille really buys it? Like, I feel like Camille half buys it and half does not, and also can't really push her agenda because her agenda is looking for sex toys in the bedroom.
True.
Like, if Camille had come over for a sweater, she would be like, I need to find a sweater. Why are you in this bed? But like, I feel like she's blocked by her inability to be honest about her shit. So she's like, fuck, I'll just leave. And like, hopefully they won't find the handcuffs.
Yeah. There's a lot of stretching that is required to make this plot come off in this episode, is my opinion on that subject. Because like
I agree, and I give it permission because I have so much fun.
It's fine. It's all fine. But yeah, Camille like can't get the handcuffs. And she also says like, hey, if you need something, like call me. Like, I don't love that Rayanne is here, you know, blah, blah.
Them trying to explain the fucking handcuffs to Danielle is also really something, especially because of Danielle's like interior monologue. Like she says out loud, like, I'm not even interested in what these handcuffs are. And then her interior monologue is like, thanks. Now I'm interested. But them being like, so sometimes in a young girl's life, there are like it's good.
It's very good. It's incredibly good. And then we cut to poor Patty on the couch where she spends the entire day. And Warren, is making her feel bad about her life.
Oh my God.
I do have my best use of flannel. It's here. Are you ready?
It's here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
My jaw is on the floor. That flannel is divine. It's so fucking special. The best use of flannel of this episode.
Okay, mine is the bottom half of Danielle's dress in the opening shot. I'm giving her best use of flannel because A, I think it's an incredible use of flannel, and B, it is Danielle's episode. So I think that she deserves for once to be recognized.
I think this is a great choice. I have 2 runners up.
Okay.
One is the plaid curtains behind the bed where Graham and Patty emphatically do not have sex. This is at the Airbnb. Number 2, Warren is sporting a plaid flannel number in this scene before he changes into his tie later. But my winner is Patty spends all day on this couch. This couch has 9 different patterns on it. There's floral, there's stripe, blah, blah. But the panel right behind Patty is a nice buttery yellow checked number. So I'm giving that one section of the couch my best use of flannel for the episode.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
For holding Patty in her darkest hour.
Yes. Maybe if Patty had had a better book she was reading, she wouldn't have minded this. But we skip past the part where Patty says, we're adults, do we really need to have alcohol to have a good time? And I'm like, Patty, just stop being so square and just
Yeah, I guess I stereotyped Patty as a wine mom. I was very surprised to learn that Patty doesn't really have any alcohol, that she doesn't really drink. She's not a drinker. I mean, I didn't think she was drinking to excess, but I definitely thought that Patty was enjoying some wine. And now that I say that, I'm I think actually Patty has been enjoying some wine.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird swerve. But if it's
a little too extreme.
Yeah, but if it gets us to drunk, she's just a little too Mormon about it or whatever until she's not. And so anyway, the worst news though is that Rayanne has to pee.
I mean, thank God she just has to pee. You know what I mean? This child locked in this bed for, as Brian later says, till Monday. How well do we think Rayanne does peeing in a jar?
Later, there are no sheets on the bed. So, I don't know if those two things are related. But yeah.
I clock Rayanne as somebody who can really pee into a jar. I feel like she's had experience. So I'm going to assume that she does mostly well, but that Graham and Patty will forever be sleeping now in a bed that has a little bit of Rayanne pee on it.
A little bit of pee.
But as we learned in an earlier episode, they didn't even really throw away the pillow that Angela's little cousin peed on, so they don't care.
I guess they don't care about a little bit of pee.
So I want to just say, you were talking about how Patty's arc is it feels a little extreme with her being adults don't need alcohol to have fun. I mean, spoiler alert, so many of us do. But
I just really identified with Neil and Cheryl and Graham, which sucks because they're the jerks in this episode.
Yeah.
Or can be, but I really identified when all three of them were yeah.
Yeah. And then to add insults to injury here, because that's extreme for Patty. And I also feel like Patty's relationship to these handcuffs is just a little bit too uptight for me. It does not read well.
After the Halloween episode, right? You know what I mean? This isn't who Patty is. She's not this square. And
she is not.
Yeah, and square and a little judgmental. You know what I mean? The whole
right.
We don't really need alcohol to have a good time. It's I've been around, like, I hang out with people who don't drink, and, like, that's fine. Absolutely fine if you don't want to drink. But, like, someone who's judgy of other people drinking around them, no, barring, like, someone who's, like, a really bad drunk, like, no, I just, be
Totally. And I just think that Patty has been, like, the bullshit that these two have not tied each other up. Come on.
Yeah, they fucked in costume.
On.
Yeah. Okay, and then here's what happens, right? Sharon's like, who could help us out, right? And Angela's like, oh, no fucking thank you very much. Okay, but our guy Brian shows up, and we don't get a like, oh God, it's Brian, but we do get a like, oh God, it's Brian. Secondly, so then Brian's like, okay, we'll go to the hardware store Monday. So like presumably it's Saturday, right? Because Patty, unless it's a 3-day weekend, like Patty and Graham come back the next day. So it's Saturday. And it's like Saturday because the pleasure center's still open. So in what United States city is there not a hardware store not open on a Saturday? I was like, maybe a Sunday for God reasons, but I don't know why. But let me tell you, if you live in a town where the pleasure center is open, odds are the hardware store is open. Like, what the hell?
100%.
And then also, like, I don't know if you ever have fun watching things that are set in the 90s or whatever, and you're like, man, cell phones ruined like so many like plots, because like if they had YouTube, they could figure out how to get out of those handcuffs in a jiff. I figured out how to assemble a very complicated desk chair that arrived at my house in pieces today, because guess what? There was a YouTube video about it. You know what I mean? So like, we're all experts now.
The internet made writers' rooms so much more difficult.
It's true. It's true. So I was like, well, thank God they don't have like cell phones or the internet. So then Sharon's going to have to show Brian where the pleasure center is.
An amazing exchange. I don't know where it is. I'll show you. Yeah. Wow. I'm so glad that Sharon is familiar with the pleasure center, and I demand to see the scene where Brian Krakow and Sharon Shersky go to the pleasure center and get these handcuffs together.
Did we not get that scene? I'm so mad about it.
Seriously, it is the scene. It would have been better than every other scene in this episode.
It should have been, honestly, it should have been a whole episode. Sharon and Brian go to the pleasure center. 1000%.
So this is where we kind of split into two giant arcs. One is the handcuffs and their removal, and two is Patty getting drunk. Where do you want to go first, Joanna?
I just want to live in drunk Patty town for a while. All right. So like Patty at first is like, no, I'm an adult. I'm going to follow the rules. But like everything is awful and Graham is being the worst. And so she's like, never mind. Give me the hooch. He's like, oh, he said hooch. Great. Poor Patty, who's put on her ruffliest blouse and her most formal floral vest. She's like ready to have a nice dinner and everyone's like, okay. And then drunk Patty, my goodness, what a joy. Maybe my favorite part is when she's like, Mayday, Mayday, play it cool. I word is my friend and we speak all the time now.
She says, we speaked today, is what she says. And then she strokes his fucking tie.
We speak all the time.
We speak today. Oh God. Mayday is also, I think, my favorite. But also, I'm sorry, it gets very hard to pick, because then slightly drunker Patty, before taking off her fucking shirt, which by the way, her outfit is still totally fine even without her ruffly shirt.
I know. She's got like a lacy bodysuit thing underneath.
Yeah, which is great. Super sexy, by the way. Yeah. Did she borrow that from Camille? So she says though, when Warren comes over, she calls him Mr. Bed and Breakfast, which is also delightful. She spills her fucking drink all over herself, which I have to say, I hate to admit it, but I've fallen victim to being this guy a couple of times, missing my mouth, if you will. Orders an ice cream. So relatable. Drunk Patty is so fucking relatable.
Love Drunk Patty.
This is also
giving
exactly
Neil
what I would
shit.
do.
Love it. Giving Graham shit. She does her little Cheryl impression, but not in a way that offends Cheryl. So I'm gonna allow it because Cheryl doesn't get hurt by it, and that's okay. She's directing. She's aiming at Graham. She hits the target.
Yep.
Dead center. And then they get like booted from the restaurant. Warren's like, you have to go to your room. Graham,
no ice cream for
Graham
you.
turns from like party fun guy to like tisk, and I'm like, you fucking hypocrite, right? It's fun.
Seriously.
It's fine for you to have fun, but Patty has fun, and you're like, oh, control yourself, woman. And then she goes, one little scoop. I love you, drunk Patty. We skipped, and this is my fault. I think I didn't write it down, but there's a earlier scene with Cheryl and Patty where Cheryl's like, it's a little heavy-handed once again. I think where Cheryl's like, all your choices have been made, and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But in that scene is one of the things that I love about Cheryl, where she's like, I love that you run your own business. That rules. I want to do that. You rule. And then like when Patty gets carried out of the dining room, Cheryl's just like, I just admire her so much, and you like believe her, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I think we need to give a shout out to Dr. Allen's ginger flavored brandy. And also shout out to Cheryl for bringing a backup bottle in her bag. Like, good job, Cheryl. So
great job, Cheryl. Horrible choice of like, this is when you wish you had drank not that, because Patty's hangover is also just very much a product of this apple flavored brandy, which you know is like all sugar.
Ginger flavored brandy.
I'm so sorry,
sure
Joanna.
It's the most disgusting thing in the world. Anyway,
I have never upset you more than when I called the brandy by its wrong name.
I'm sorry. It's Dr. Allen's ginger flavored brandy.
It's ginger. They say it so many times.
All right. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, right? So
yes, back at the ranch.
Brian has showed up. He's got the key. There's a little bit of a dumb juvenile contrived, like it's so big it won't fit sort of thing. It's stupid until you get the camera cutaway to Angela and Ricky and Danielle just like sitting there, and then Ricky like hides his snacks for some reason.
Yeah, the snacks is where I lose it. Like one of them is like straight up like popcorn at a movie eating.
Yeah.
That actually is a nice segue, Joanna, to the penultimate haiku from Kate.
Great.
Who writes in her haiku review, "Scene with Kyle walking in on everyone is a gift that keeps on giving." So
it's just, Ricky is just like, anyway. And also, and we had this in the Halloween episode too, I kind of think Rayanne and Brian is like, it's kind of hot, I think.
I'm not upset about it. I agree with you. There's something about Brian being on top of Rayanne, which is supposed to be a joke, that I definitely had a moment of like, but,
Yeah, but like, maybe, you know?
Yeah. I think it's too their familiarity with each other, which I really, really loved. Like that Brian isn't flustered, because Brian started off, being teased by Rayanne and getting really flustered, and he is so pointedly not flustered.
He's
like, listen.
Can we keep it professional?
Yes. And I think that's why it's kind of hot, is because he's like, enough of your bullshit, Graf, like.
I know.
Really,
so like, are you saying that if you're saying, I'm out of my depth here, but are you saying that if Brian and Rayanne were to ever actually have sex, that he would be a top? He would top her?
He's really
she's a natural top.
She is a top, but 100%.
Right.
But that I think that why we're finding it hot, at least here, is because Brian's totally topping her.
He's topping
I mean, not just visibly, but he is truly topping her.
Yeah.
And so I don't know that if Brian and Rayanne had sex right now, that Brian would have the ability to top. But I think that if we took this like 5 more episodes in, that Brian would definitely top Rayanne, and I think Rayanne would be into it.
Here's what I think. This is the thing that happens on TV shows. Veronica Mars is the best example of it, but I'm trying to think of another one where it kind of seems clear that the writers want one couple, but the natural chemistry of characters. Like, Dawson's Creek is another good example, but I'm trying to think of a more modern example and I can't. But that it's clear the writers want one couple, but like just the chemistry that exists between 2 actors. So what I feel like is, I know that Winnie Holzman had various plans for season 2. I don't know what would have happened, blah, blah, blah. My ultimate ship is Rayanne and Sharon, so like whatever. But I'm like, what if they just like could not deny Rayanne and Brian thing. And then like Brian Krakow and Rayanne Graff becomes this like thing. Because I think what's clear is that the writers want like Brian and Angela are the real soulmates or something like that. But I just feel like Brian and Rayanne would be like so good for him and so good for her and so like star-crossed and weird and great. That I want that. I want Rayanne and Brian go to the pleasure center. I just be so flustered, but like then it would give him confidence, and it would just be like great. There's actually a very similar pairing on the TV show Joan of Arcadia that I really loved, where like this very square nerdy brother of our main character like hooks up with this like really cool chick friend of hers.
Nice.
So anyway, I can stop talking about other teen shows now, because we get our I think maybe the best scene of the episode. It's hard when drunk Patty's around, but maybe the best scene of the episode, which is Danielle and Rayanne, right?
Yeah, Danielle doing this cute little peek into the room of like, I'm like, can I hang out with you? And then Rayanne is like, it's really sweet, even just when Rayanne is like, no, come in.
It's what gives the episode its heart, you know, because like My So-Called Life is so good with heart, and this is an episode where like people are behaving in out of control and frustrating ways on both sides of the storyline. And so to have this like very sweet, tender moment between these two characters, I really love it.
Yeah, agree. So Patty's hungover, and it's this like very quick interstitial little thing where we go sort of like back and forth to this montage, but the back and forth gives us Angela seeing Rayanne and Danielle, who have fallen asleep like big spoon, little spoon, so fucking cute and sweet, and Angela having this moment of like seeing the good in Rayanne and see, you know, that like that people aren't just one thing, and sometimes that means that they're not good for us and they shouldn't be in our lives, but sometimes it means that like we can figure out what is good for us and them in a relationship. And so I you know, I'm laying a lot onto her eyeballs, but I think that that's what is happening here.
No, I think you're right.
And the headboard crashes. Neil dumped Cheryl, thank God, because Cheryl deserves better. And Patty erupts. This was the moment that she was building to, where she's been trying to tuck away her Hallie feelings for so long. And listen, a lesson to you out there: if you're trying to tuck away your feelings, don't do it, because they will always come to the surface. Always. It's just a matter of time. And they're in the gas station, and she is like, nothing. What about what matters to me? She's talking about something totally different. And then she's like, and then you looked under her hood. And this is the moment when Graham realizes by Patty's outburst that she has feelings.
But I'm so mad at Graham in this scene for like 9 different reasons. But like, I hate that it takes him up until her saying a hood for him to like stop smirking. He's like smirking at her. I'm so mad at him. Yeah. She looks great, by the way. Like she's got her sunglasses, her like great little like weekend jacket. Her hair's a little rumpled because she's supposed to look like shitty and hungover, but it looks great. She just looks a little rough and tumble. Like, I'm like, could I please ever on my best day look like Patty Chase hungover? Thank you. And Graham's just like sitting there, just like being like, there, little lady, like whatever.
Yeah.
Really shittily. Just, I don't like it. And then she says the hood thing, and I'm like, that's right. Kick in the teeth, my friend, and you deserve it. Yeah. And then Cheryl's like, let's do this again, only without Neil. Great stuff from Cheryl. Great till the end. And then we get the frantic scramble back at the Chase
we
house.
get Rayanne and Angela starting to come to blows. Literally, like they've got Sharon and Brian, I think, holding them back as they're just like screaming at each other because
it's
Rayanne
Ricky. It's Ricky and Sharon.
Oh, it's Ricky and Sharon. Oh, that makes more sense. And they're in the middle of this fight, and the phone rings, and Danielle is so good at yelling, like a little sister, you know? She's like, excuse me. Mom and Dad are going to be home in 20 minutes. And so, you know, the bed is in pieces, and they just work together with their trash bags, cleaning up the house, getting it ship shape. It's amazing what they're able to do.
It's unbelievable, literally, what they're able to do. But can I shout out who I think the real hero of this whole caper is?
Yes, please.
Ricky is directly involved. He's like the reason Rayanne is there. Rayanne is handcuffed to the bed. Angela lives there. Danielle lives there. Brian has literally nothing better to do ever, blah, blah. But I think the real hero here is Sharon Chersky, who just like pulls, it like joins this escapade in the middle and just like pulls together. And it's just like the scene where she and Danielle come downstairs with their garbage bags and they like catch sight of the living room and they're like, oh, fuck. I'm like, Sharon, you're a hero for being here. And also what's cute, I mean, like, first of all, I've never in my life been that messy at a sleepover, but like the living room with its just like popcorn on every surface and then like a game of like Sorry is out and like I'm like, oh, they had such a fun little sleepover here last night. So,
totally.
You know.
So they get the house together. They're all in the bed watching a fishing show because it's the first thing that came on television. And Patty and Graham come in and they're like, ding, hello. The ding was the glint off of their teeth when they smiled. And Danielle clocks the key, which Patty very conveniently takes out of her pocket and puts on the dresser, but whatever. Danielle clocks it and has the wherewithal to grab it and get it to Angela by hugging her mom and being like, I missed you so much. So Danielle has serious points here. She does a great job. Gets the key to fucking Rayanne. Rayanne pops the cuffs off. They get him back in the box. They put it on the bed. Everybody leaves. Everyone knows something was up, meaning Patty and Graham. They're like, that was weird. What a weird weekend. And a couple of things happen at the end of the episode that I want to talk to you about, Joanna.
Hit me.
The first one is that Patty and Graham are supposedly now going to have hangover handcuff sex. They're going to have middle of the day. They're going to handcuff each other. They do, as a matter of fact, because the key is missing. And you hear that as we like come out of the bedroom with the door closed. And so I want to know, to throw back to Rayanne's earlier question, who is handcuffed to the bed?
I feel like there's context clues from the dialogue.
But do we know from the dialogue that it's Patty? It's like that riddle where you're like, and and the doctor said, that is my son. I cannot operate on him. Just like, I'm just putting it out there. I am a little bit in Camp Rayanne that I want to believe that Graham is the one cuffed to the bed.
Patty feels like a top to me, for sure.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Thank you for investigating the who is topping who in Patty Graham relationship with me. So the other thing is more just me wanting to talk about the fact that Rayanne hides the key in her pocket. So we never will find out how this resolves itself, I don't think. But what do we think about this moment between Angela and Rayanne, where Angela is sort of like, I know you, and like kind of laughing. Like, I would like to hear your experience of how they ended this.
Well, I think that, we'll have the information from the final episode will help inform this, but I think it sort of goes to the point that you've been making throughout the episode, which is like, learn to take all of Rayanne if you're going to take any of Rayanne. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I know you wouldn't be able to resist, right? Like, I know you. And like, there is just so much love and familiarity, right? Mm-hmm. That, I don't know, it seems like a bridge is being built here, even though they once again say, I don't want to talk about it. But like, there's like, it seems like there's a bit, it's not like, get the fuck out of my house. It's like, go ahead, fish that key out of your bra, please. Thank you very much. I know you very well, sort of
Totally. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. I also want to, I think, give Brian Krakow, I think this is my favorite Brian Krakow moment. It is so small, but like they're all leaving kind of like single file one at a time. And when Brian leaves before we get this exchange, Angela like kind of like strokes his arm. Like she just like sort of like runs her hand down his arm and he like stops. And then he realized like he shouldn't have stopped. He should have left. That was her goodbye. And he just stands there so awkwardly for like a half beat. I laughed so loud that I scared my cats when the moment happened. So if you missed it, listener,
I'm gonna
go back.
watch it again. Yeah.
Enjoy it. It is so good. It is Devin Gummersall is so fucking good in that.
He's great.
In everything. But
he's just great. And next week is a very it's a big Brian episode, so we will get there.
Wow.
In our last discussion.
In our last discussion of this show ever. So it was the best weekend of Danielle's life is how we end this. And
I mean, can you imagine? Well, you can't because you weren't a little sister, but like, oh my God. If something like this had happened and I got to be directly involved with my sister and her friends and like, woo! And my like crush is there. Oh my God, I'm having the best time of my life because Brian definitely slept over, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody slept over.
What a fun.
Seems like the best weekend of everyone's life, except for Patty and Graham and
maybe
Neil.
Rayanne, who had to pee in a jar.
maybe. Yeah, true. Wow. And Angela, I think, did a good big sister thing in her last moment in the episode where she's like she thanks Danielle and like gives her the credit that she deserves for her part in helping out the situation. So
yeah,
here we are at the end of the 18th episode of My So-Called Life. Joanna, where are people going to find you? Because we're almost done here.
Listen, if you want to revisit an earlier time in television, you can watch the TV show Lost with me over on the Storm podcast. It would be a great thing for you to do. Mm-hmm. It's a great show, and it doesn't have Kristin on it, but I'm on there, so that's nice. You can also find me on the Little Gold Men podcast talking about award season. Also, the Still Watching podcast. We're watching The Outside right now, but next we're watching Westworld, so you'll want to stick around for that. How about you, Kristin Russo? Where can folks find you?
Well, you can find me in the early aughts as well, talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer over on my podcast, Buffering the Vampire Slayer. And you can also find out about what I'm doing in my work with the LGBTQ community. All of that stuff is over at KristinNoline.com. Oh, and us, you ask? Yes, well, for a couple more weeks, we will be, I guess we will live forever on the internet, but for a couple more weeks actively, we will be at Boiler Room Cast on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Come hang out with us. Tell us what you think. Holy shit. One more left.
Until then. Gotta go.
Go back!
Here's a door and here's a window, here's a ceiling, here's a floor. The room is lit like a black and white movie. The TV's on, that's what it's for. And if you walk real slowly, you can't feel the planet breathe. There's no need to feel so lonely now that we've all learned to give. Accidentally Cali Street, where friends and strangers sometimes meet. Accidentally Cali Street, I never thought life could be so sweet.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune in to Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
Goodbye, Kyle!
Did the sound of those words call to you like Pavlov's dog? Then you might enjoy our podcast, Turtle Time.
Every week, you can join me, Riley Hamilton, and my co-host, Amy Scarlotta, as we cover the most pressing Bravo news and dig into the new episodes to answer important questions like, who the hell is Adrian Malouf in this world?
Listen to Turtle Time on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday.